what do you see as like a core human value where, whether it's an audience or attendees that you're speaking to in a keynote, that AI, these agents, technology can be an ally and not really looked at or leaned on as a crutch or kind of a replacement. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I'll give you my thesis on this. And so there's incredible utility in generative AI and this autonomous technology. And I think one thing that's so interesting about it is it continues at warp speed to advance in terms of its capability and its utility. And to your point, in many respects, it's also borrowed thinking, right? In the
Yeah.
most general sense. And so the way I think about it, particularly for a commercial application, is that AI, generative AI, scales volume, and authentic intelligence is what scales value.
Hmm.
And authentic intelligence really is the intersection of the technology, right? And there's so many things it does well: research, data aggregation, organization, synthesis. But if you want the output to have value and be proprietary and create a competitive differentiation and over time an advantage, it requires your creativity. It requires your human discernment, your judgment, your insight, your background and expertise, the nuance, the story. Ultimately, those are the things that actually create a competitive moat around you. So prompt engineering there's utility in it. It's a skill, but I think ultimately to leverage this technology the right way, we have to go way beyond that. And I just really encourage people, clients, my team. We just had this conversation an hour ago before we jumped on. Don't outsource your thinking, and
Yeah.
so because we have years of experience and expertise, and what AI can't do, it can't sit with ambiguity in the conference room. It can't discern where you're getting stuck and your fear and resistance is coming from. It can't understand how the last project that didn't go right affected your ability to decide in this one with the geopolitical crisis that's changed. It doesn't do any of those things.
Right.
And so that's our energy around that. If you look at my website and our taglines, the future of growth is human. And that doesn't mean we aren't going to leverage this technology to power everything that we do. We are, and it's already improved my business. But we recognize the part that is required for us to do really well. And you can call it, we use the word human discernment, and creativity, judgment is part of human discernment.
Yeah. That authentic intelligence is such a great phrase. I by no means am saying that, the prompt engineering is the destination for the creativity. I too agree that, sounding so agreeable with you, but why not, Ryan? We can be agreeable. That, the context, humor, sarcasm, the anxiousness, all this human condition is where the richness of being original and where the value really, really comes from. The rest can be reproduced, replicated, refined, optimized. But how do you get that context and that narrative, that brilliant storytelling where you're really pulled in like around the campfire and like you can feel and touch it.
Authenticity is one of the most powerful mechanisms for connection. There's research that it's actually 40 times more powerful than love. And it's something that artificial intelligence doesn't give us. It's artificial. The human component is authentic. And you touched just your share was real interesting because you touched it's creativity, but it's also, you said, storytelling, right? And these things that connect us and emotional intelligence. That's part of the human condition. We're wired to relate that way. And I would suggest the humans are still the most complicated part of the enterprise. I can actually reliably predict our AI platform and its outputs, but my team, sometimes it's just there's more complexity in the human condition. But think back about we before we started recording. How did we connect? What did we do? You told me a story about that basketball behind you. That opened up my story about my father. And we know each other a little bit better because of that. And it's an interesting stat around that. 24 hours after a meeting, 65% of people can recall stories. Only 5% can recall statistics. That pulling on the campfire, that energetic transference, that emotional resonance, those things are uniquely, in the way we phrase it, authentically human.
Yeah. When I love doing this podcast, you have great guests, yourself included. It's a challenge for me. I don't mind being out there and on YouTube, and I'm not like I don't have this fear of public speaking, which so many humans do. But it's a challenge, and one of the places in for me, a context that I've created for myself is that this is a campfire in cyberspace, and we're just chilling. Maybe the s'mores will come out at some point, and that, if you go all the way back to the cave or even before the cave, they were the cavemen and women were hanging out around the campfire and kind of telling about a bear or some tiger or something, or a great salmon that they grabbed out of a stream or river. And we're taking it to the to the nth degree of modernity, and having a campfire in cyberspace here, in the hopes that we provide nutrition to our subscribers and our audience and our attendees and the people that we're committed to delivering impact to.
Yeah, well, I think you are, and there's you're right. I mean, that's how we connect. It's how we communicate. It's how we expand. We've had this saying, words and ideas delivered with passion and precision change the world. And it's true. They're the only thing in this history of time that has. They advance us, they move us forward, they open us up, and they help us feel part of something. They help us feel seen and heard and understood and valued. And that's core to the human experience. And the other thing is, I think this has dual utility, like what you're doing. So to me, it really is a genuine act of service, right? It's noble, it's altruistic. You're taking your time, your resources, your energy, and you're providing a forum, the digital campfire, in your words, that actually should serve others. And so that's very, very generous. But at the same time, I would imagine over the history of this show, you've also been nourished and received value. It's giving you those things. And I think that's part of the beauty in this co-creation ecosystem that we live in is, I experienced that writing a book, and the people I talked to and the perspective they shared and the experiences they had. And that shaped me. And I always tell people, be careful about what you create, because in many ways it creates you.